You've changed. 2 words that feel very accusational, especially during or after you've left the church. Maybe it was at a family dinner. Maybe it was a text from someone you used to be close to at church. Maybe it was your grandma looking at you from across the table. And what she actually meant was, you used to be easier to control. I have gotten this so many times. You used to be so happy-go-lucky. You're fake happy. It's usually from people who don't want to see me grow, who want me to stay within the confines of what I grew up in. Because yeah, in a lot of ways, I have changed and I have grown. It's like they can't see or they don't want to see the fact that you've changed, not because you have become less you, but because you have learned, you have deconstructed things that don't align with you anymore. You are becoming more you. And once you start learning shit, you can't unlearn that shit. So if someone has said this to you, you've changed, like it's a problem that needs to be fixed, this video is for you. Let's talk about why it hurts. Because it's not just the words, it's the weight behind them. It's who is saying them, because more often than not, that person means something to you. And when they say you've changed in like the negative way, because you can like kind of hear it in their tone, what they're often saying is, you're not who I need you to be. And for a lot of us, especially those of us who are coming out of religious backgrounds where keeping the peace is more like a survival skill, being told that we've changed feels like we've done something wrong. It's like me growing is betraying people, which is so backwards. And something important to understand is that the people who are saying this are usually grieving the past version of you that they needed. Like they knew the version of you that fit perfectly into their family system, into their theological framework, into their world, and that version of you felt safe to them. And you growing is totally disrupting that. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you changing is essentially asking another person to adapt with you, or, you know, your paths are going to start going in different directions at some point. And that is so uncomfortable because you don't want to lose people. And on your side, maybe you didn't want to change in a way that would cost you relationships. I know I didn't. I didn't wake up one day and think, you know what would be fun? Losing my whole community and having my family look at me differently. That cost you something, and that is important. When someone has said you've changed, you don't owe them an apology or an explanation. Change is not a confession. The framing inside you changed is that the old you is the correct version of you, the default you, the you that everyone signed up for, and any deviation of that is a problem. So let me ask you something. Who decided that the version of you that hadn't processed any of your trauma, who hadn't set a single boundary yet, who smiled through things that were genuinely hurting, who decided that that was the gold standard you? What I know about my own story is that the version of me that was happy-go-lucky, I still am very happy-go-lucky. Any of you who know me personally know that I am a happy-go-lucky person. People who said I had changed in that way, who called me fake happy, I'm already starting to act different around them because they have hurt me, because they have said things that traumatized me. And trauma does not have to be something physical that happened to you. It can be verbal. So yeah, if I'm naturally a happy-go-lucky person and I'm acting not happy-go-lucky around someone, it's probably because I have my guard up and my boundaries up. I'm on defense because these are people who have hurt me. When you experience trauma from religion and spirituality and you do the work to understand it, to dissect it, to heal from it, like that changes you. And you're not losing yourself. You are like literally getting to know yourself. And the people who benefited from you being that agreeable, people-pleasing, boundaryless, moldable person, they're the ones who are going to have an issue with you healing. And here's the part that I really want you to sit with. The people who are saying that you've changed, they're grieving the loss of a dynamic that they were comfortable with. But their grieving does not mean that you are required to shrink back into that old version of you just because they can't manage their own discomfort and grief. You aren't responsible for their process. You're responsible for yours. Everyone's responsible for their own healing process. So what do you actually say when someone says you've changed? The first option is you can kind of disarm them and be like, you're right, I have changed, and I'm still figuring out what it all means. And this one is powerful because you're not defending yourself. I don't know what's going on, but like, I'm here for it. You're not apologizing, you're not inviting an argument, you're just like agreeing. Yeah, I have. Option 2, you can kind of include them in it and be like, I know this is hard for you. It's hard for me too. Clearly, it's hard for them if they're bringing them up. Like there's an issue, obviously. It like acknowledges their experience as well, but it's not like centering it on them because you're also like, we're in this together. And it's a good one, especially if you like want to keep the relationship solid. And then option 3 is like kind of like a reclamation, like I'm still me. I've just stopped pretending or I've stopped masking. This one is more direct and it could go either way. It could either be like a cutoff, like, okay, I don't want to talk about this, or if it just depends on the other person, like if you can gauge, it could like send you into a deeper conversation, because sometimes when someone says you've changed, they're directly being like, I miss the version of you that didn't push back, which was my case. Like I never pushed back. I just kind of like took it. And sometimes the most honest way to say it is, yeah, that version of me wasn't sustainable. But honestly, sometimes the most loving thing and like sanity keeping thing you can do is just not respond at all. It's kind of awkward, especially if you know that the conversation is gonna go nowhere. Like you can respectfully be like, I don't want to talk about this. I have had to make some really fucking hard decisions in my life regarding close relationships, where no matter what I say or how I communicated, the other person's commitment and staying in their ways meant that there was no version of this conversation that was gonna end well. So setting certain boundaries or limits on certain relationships could and can and will actually be beneficial in some circumstances. With some people, like there's no other way to prove a point. And that's not you failing the relationship. Like you're taking yourself seriously and you are taking your boundaries seriously, maybe for the first time ever. Oh God. I just kicked my stand. Am I still here? I'm still here. So here's what I want to leave you with. The most radical thing you can do is to not apologize for your own growth. You don't need permission to evolve. You don't need the people who knew the old you to sign off on who you're becoming, because yes, you've changed. You've changed because you've been through shit. And you've voluntarily or involuntarily decided that the discomfort of growth was better than the discomfort or the suffocation of staying where you were. And that's not something to apologize for. That is something to be proud of. Let me know in the comments which response you would use. Figuring out the whole boundary relationship thing can feel very isolating. You're not alone. Go ahead and watch this video next, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.